If there are two things that I can impress upon you in this video, the first would be that no! Elon Musk is not going to be the savior of Disney, free speech, fandom, and creative storytelling. Second, and far more important than Musk will ever be, is you. Yes, you, dear viewer. You are your greatest champion. You may have your heroes, and that's great, but never let them fight the battles that can only be won by you. Your success is in your hands alone. Whew, that's a bit of a heavy way to start off this video, but that is ultimately what I'll be discussing today in my follow-up to the previous video about why Hollywood hates the Has-Been Hotel and how that correlates with the general storytelling industry's resistance to newcomers and outsiders like most of us novice authors and creators, which if you haven't seen that one yet, definitely check that out. But if you're just here for some good ranting and violence, then let's have some gladiator action before we get started.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Last December, we released the most popular video to date on our channel, how Disney lost to the Australian indie company Glitch Productions in 2023. In a humiliating display, Disney lost hundreds of millions of dollars in film and television productions, while Glitch, with just one animated episode, and that for their pilot of the amazing digital circus, made more money than Disney, managed to fund even more of their shows, and captured the collective imagination of millions of people, and resonated with countless viewers across the globe. It was a triumph and a tremendous step forward for indie animation, and an inspiration to animators and storytellers the world over. No one can take away how massive that is, especially when Disney at the time was celebrating 100 years of animation and failed so abysmally. In just so many ways, it feels, and it felt like then, still feels now, like a turning point, a turning of the page, and that a new age is here, ready for us to seize! And while I would argue that such a claim is in so many ways true, no! Glitch did not save indie animation and mankind to boot. Hollywood was not shaken to its core and is now repenting of its unimaginative ways. No, there are no hordes of people who are converted to the virtues of cartoon storytelling. I wish that was true, but in so many ways, while everything feels like it's changing, the entertainment industry as a whole remains very much the same. In fact, if the rumors rippling out of Hollywood and the whispers at the corners of publishing are correct in any way, executives and mainstream creators are determined to drive the entire industry right down the greedy gullet of volcanic waste, debt, and unimaginative drivel. During times like these, it's so tempting to look for a champion, a savior, who will make all of this right. But there's no one coming to save you. Instead, it must be a collective effort on the part of every storyteller, artist, musician, aspiring showrunner, programmer, director, fan, normie, everyone. We need everyone to bring in a new age of unfettered, fun, creative stories to the pages in your hands and up on the silver screen. Now, the reason why I wanted to tackle this issue is because I keep hearing across so many discussions here on YouTube that people are waiting for Elon Musk to come in and throw the sink around and purge Disney and thereby save Hollywood. Because, as the adage goes, as goes Disney, so goes the rest of Tinseltown. It's so ridiculous. Even these commentators and YouTubers, they know it as well, but they still persist in these rumors. Many of these same people, they believe that Nelson Peltz will somehow manage to save Disney, and I am rooting for the old man, but there's just so much more to it. Sure, there's a very good chance that he's going to win the third or fourth proxy war that he wages against the House of Mouse, but I'm not going to entertain all of these arguments further than to reference them because they are silly and myopic in their understanding. And yet, it's almost natural, historical even, for people to desire a champion to fix their problems and to save them. For example, in the Middle East, or Mesopotamia and the Levant, before ancient battles, opposing sides would choose champions to duke it out with one another. Whoever won would symbolically represent to both sides who was going to win this fight. And while it was a powerful way to motivate allies and demoralize the enemy, it wasn't always indicative of who would win. And then, of course, we have very famously in Rome, gladiators didn't just perform bloody entertainment for people, but they could be chosen as champions for different political factions, upon whom great amounts of money and vows and deals would hang. It's safe to hide behind a champion too. Let someone else who is larger than life tackle the problems that seem insurmountable to me. But for those who have paid attention over the years, let's consider some of the champions who have risen only to be crushed. Hollywood denied Don Bluth the chance to prove that animation was for everyone and could be beneficial to other studios other than just Disney. And I remember when so many people who are now cheering for Elon Musk rooted for Bob Chapek and his reforms because, well, yeah, it seemed like he was going to turn the page. But then he was unceremoniously removed by Bob Iger and kicked right out of the House of Mouse. And then just recently, fan favorite George Lucas, a seeming paragon of creativity and defying Hollywood, threw in his lot with greedy, grubbing, unimaginative Hollywood and Disney elites. Champions and heroes come and go, and I won't tell people that they shouldn't have personal heroes. In fact, personal heroes can help guide and motivate you in many meaningful ways and can just be a great source of comfort. But if you put all of the responsibility on them, you surrender precious elements of yourself. I have had many conversations with others that have gone somewhat along these lines, where they admit that they surrendered their ability to dream and imagine. You have no idea how many times I've heard that, and it is disturbing. Others have said that they stopped drawing, writing, or composing music. Some at one point had grandiose visions of the people that they could become, but then they set those dreams aside. And at the fringes of these many depressing conversations, I have heard a sheepish admission amongst most of them that they could never compete. They could never make it. And so they decided to leave it to others to do it for them. And what a sad state of affairs. And sorry, but Elon Musk does not have the creative vision necessary to save Hollywood. He's a corporate leader and a self-fancied politician and influencer. And even though he's promised the might of his wealth and connections to help Gina Carano sue Disney and expose their horrible business practices, and the rumors abound that he will now support Nelson Peltz in the next proxy war to claim control over the House of Mouse in a corporate Game of Thrones, Musk is no creative. Just look at his Tesla company for evidence of that. And he needs money as well. He's beholden to all kinds of businesses. So much that while he derides Disney, he greedily slurps up Mickey's money because he is locked into so many other contracts and problems that require his attention. Because again, he is first and foremost a businessman and has never once shown a truly creative bone in his body. And sure, as goes Disney, so goes Hollywood, and as Hollywood goes, so goes the overall storytelling industry. But at the end of the day, every major creative is pulled to Tinseltown because it is the pinnacle of global entertainment and storytelling. But getting involved in that dirty fight and throwing all of your hopes upon champions who don't know or care about you in any way as they play games of billions of dollars does nothing to save the predicament that has swept the globe. A growing dearth of creativity. That is what we are dealing with here. Now, there is hope because there are so many aspiring and novice creators all over the world. And I've had the pleasure of working with them, with these artists, with these storytellers and programmers. And these days, it's just so much easier than ever before to share your stories and your creations with other people and find an audience. And that is where I find great hope. Indie animators and storytellers have given me a lot of inspiration and have begun paving paths forward for other creators, viable pathways that could lead to sustaining actual creative careers. For instance, VisiPop proved that you, yes you, can become popular with smaller projects and upgrade them step by step and grow your stories into full-blown series. Gooseworks proved that perseverance after years can pay off, like what happened with her amazing digital circus. Liam Vickers has proven that if at first you don't succeed, try again, and it will start coming together. Glitch has proven to the world that the market rejects, the ones that Hollywood say can never be reached, the late teens to the late 20-year-olds, that they can be, that they are desirous for amazing entertainment, and that such a market is extremely profitable. And one of my favorite heroes, Olin Rogers, the Tennessee Wonder Child, has proven that no matter how many times Hollywood and the world knocks you down, a creative spirit can never stay defeated. One step forward, one step at a time, and it will begin to work out. And let's not forget that Don Bluth, despite everything that Hollywood and Disney have done to him, still fights the good fight and has his own school, has his own projects going. This fantastic old man. Or that Japan has proven the viability of animation with their own anime industry and absolutely shamed Hollywood last year with the success of Godzilla -1. And there are so many other wonderful, inspiring tales out there. I'm just barely scratching the surface. Now, I will be honest and admit that not all of us will reach such wondrous heights. It's just unfortunately not viable. But that is no reason to give up, because you need your stories. Your stories need you, and the world needs your stories. Even with Hollywood's indifference at best towards you and outright antagonism at worst, with most sites and publications never giving us even a single thought, it doesn't mean that all hope is lost. It just means that we must now turn to new doors and open them. There are plenty of platforms for every creative to get their own stories and art out there, even with their restrictions. YouTube, Tumblr, and even Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Royal Roads, AO3, fanfiction.net, and so many other sites are there for you to use. But you can even go beyond that. It is possible to work with other services and programmers to put together your own websites and make them a haven for your work. And you can use basic resources to publish your own magazines full of indie artwork and stories. You can make connections and friends with others at conventions, stores, online communities, at school, and in other gatherings to help you get your work out there. It's all about that network. Get creative, because there are all kinds of ways for you to get your works out there. That's why I have my own stories spread across YouTube, fanfiction.net, Royal Road, and in 8 published books. Not to mention the artwork to support these stories and ideas, including plans for a comic series, which unfortunately right now hasn't gone anywhere, but I'm not giving up on it. And the annual Choose Your Own Horror stories that I conduct, in the same vein as Ratatouille, where food comes to those who love to cook. Opportunities come to those who want to be creative. And there are few things that I've experienced that are as liberating, as ennobling, and as fun as telling the stories that I want to tell. The tools are in your hands to seize the victory. Don't wait for others to do the work for you and ultimately never make the stories that you want to tell. Don't surrender your own animation to others. Be your own champion. Heroes have paved the way before, but it's up to you to take the advantage, to take all of the opportunities around you. And believe me when I say that I've barely scratched the surface here. The future is ours. This current decade may very well be the time that the old adage about Disney and Hollywood comes crashing down as a new generation full of innovative and bold creatives takes to the field and brings their stories and dreams to life. That is what I believe can happen, and that is what Camille's Harem will continue to champion until it does. And I hope that you will join us and help that to come about. But as we go on in this amazing endeavor, that will do it for this video. But it's not the end for us, for any of us. And we have many other videos to make and many more stories yet to tell on our end. If you want to be a part of that, then please subscribe. And we would love it if you've checked out the books that we have published. Links for them are in the description below. And please share your experiences and your fun story ideas and more with us in the comments. And until the next video, y'all, I wish you the best of luck with your creative endeavors. Never give up, never surrender, and tschüss.